Okay, so real quick, I'm gonna go over what we went over last time, just to refresh everyone's memory. Okay, so the book describes the writing process using these steps: discovering, planning, composing, getting feedback, revising, editing, and proofreading. I make it a little simpler and I call it brainstorming, pre-writing, first draft, revision, and final draft. Okay? So when you guys put your first assignment together, that is exactly what you did. You brainstormed first based on the writing prompt. You did some pre-writing, most likely. You probably jotted some points down or made a brief outline. You made a first draft. You made revisions after your peer review, and you submitted a final draft. So good job, guys. Okay, next. Again, when you are writing in APA format, again, your first assignment was not written in APA because it is so personal, but when keeping your final paper in mind, just keep in mind that your sources have to be legitimate. So when Googling for sources, you can use .edu, .org, .gov, and things like that. No .coms, no .net, etc. And again, no Wikipedia, even though it is a .org. Technically, because of how easy it is to change Wikipedia's entries, it is not a reliable source. So, and again, consult Learn, which you should have access to, for more resources. Okay? And before you write your essay, start with an outline. That's where the essay map will come in handy, and you have a link to that in this PowerPoint. And the basic essay always starts with an introduction or an introductory paragraph, which includes a thesis statement, which is your topic and what you are trying to prove, so basically your own stance on that topic. And you are going to prove your thesis using different avenues of approach. Now, the book does call the avenues of approach something a little bit different. Avenues of approach is just an easy way to say that these are your points that you are discussing to prove your thesis. Okay? And of course, your body paragraphs include quotes, in-text citations, and go into more detail on your avenues of approach or your points. Okay? And if you guys like, you can go ahead and watch that little YouTube clip again of the basic research paper outline. Okay? And always remember, never use first or second person in a formal essay. Okay? Formal essays are always third person perspective. For your assignment that you just submitted, I did ask you guys to write in first person. That is just because it is not a formal academic essay, and because the topic itself is so personal. Okay? But for your final paper, just remember, always third person. Never I, me, my, you, your, etc. Okay? Now, let's get started talking about the introductory paragraph, or the introduction. Okay? So, this is your chance to grab the reader's attention. So you need to use an intriguing opening sentence to hook the reader. The opening sentence is actually called a hook. Okay? And your thesis statement should be toward the beginning of the introductory paragraph so that it is clear right away what you are talking about, what you are discussing. Okay? And choose a title carefully. It should be enough to pique the reader's interest. It should not be vague, but at the same time it should not be overly long. Okay? And after your thesis statement, add your avenues of approach. So in a typical essay, essays are about 5 paragraphs. For your formal paper, this is not going to be true because your formal paper is going to be about 5 pages double-spaced. So you will need to be a little bit longer for your final paper. But the standard for a typical persuasive essay or argumentative essay is 3 avenues of approach and 3 body paragraphs to go with them. Okay? So the standard essay is 5 paragraphs in total, usually. The introduction, your 3 body paragraphs, and your conclusion. Okay, so let's start talking about the body of your essay. So each body paragraph is starting with a topic sentence. This is related to your avenue of approach. So whatever your avenue of approach is, whatever your point is, you're going to start with that, and that is going to be forming your topic sentence. So if you have 3 body paragraphs, typically you will have one for each avenue of approach or each point you are discussing. And you're using your body paragraphs to add as much detail as you can about your stance on your topic, and you're going to back up your perspective and your opinion with proper sources. So that's where quotes and paraphrasing come in. Okay? And remember, don't forget your citations. You always need to have APA citations. So again, remember the difference between a quote and a paraphrase is quotes are directly using the words of the author, and they will be in quotation marks. Paraphrasing is not a direct quote, so you do not need quotation marks, and you are restating the author's thoughts in your own words. But because you are not taking credit for the author's ideas, and you should not be taking credit for their ideas, you do still need citations. Okay? And citations include in-text citations and also references on your reference page. And we'll go into more detail on how to do both of those. I will have a couple of videos for you coming up on how to do those. Okay? And within your bio paragraphs, don't forget to use transitions, especially transitional sentences between each bio paragraph, so that you can transition easily from one idea to the next and smoothly, instead of jumping from one idea to the other, because that will read very choppy and disjointed, which is not good. So we always want it to be smooth and make sense. So that's where transitions are extremely helpful. Okay? And again, your body paragraphs are just your attempt to persuade and convince the reader of, the truth of your thesis statement. You want them to really think and be convinced of your argument. Okay? Okay, so please check out this video for examples of transitions. And keep in mind that transitions can include transitional words, transitional phrases, and transitional sentences. You can use transition words to join ideas in different sentences, and when you're going between paragraphs, you should use transitional sentences. Okay, and just keep that in mind. Like, for the importance of transitions is just as important in writing as it is in conversations. For example, if we are having a conversation about puppies and out of nowhere I start talking about rainbows, you're going to get confused and be like, well, where did that come from? And the same is true with writing. If we don't have transitions, it won't make sense. So going back to that example, I could put in a transition in our conversation by saying, oh, speaking of puppies, I saw the cutest puppy chasing a rainbow the other day. And did you know rainbows are blah, blah, blah. Okay? That is an example of a transition. Please email me if you have any questions. Okay? Okay, and your conclusion paragraph. Your conclusion is just restating your thesis statement and restating your avenues of approach. Because we don't want your conclusion to be your introduction 2.0, we don't want to be an exact clone. Do try to say things a little bit differently. You can restate your thesis in almost the exact same way, but try to be a little bit different when you are talking about your points. Because your conclusion and your introduction should be like sisters, not like exact clones. Okay? And use an interesting closing sentence, because the best conclusions will make your reader think and leave an impression. The very best thing for a writer is when you are done with your piece and when the reader has finished reading, they're still thinking about what you have said and what your argument is. So aim for that whenever you can. Okay? Okay, and throughout the writing process, consider the following. So always keep these in mind. Your subject, because you are writing for the college level, make sure you select a topic appropriate for a college level audience. And with your formal paper, you are, of course, going to be writing on nursing. and you can choose your own topic relevant to that, with my approval, of course. Okay? And conduct research into your subject by browsing industry journals, reputable websites, etc. That's where Learn will also come in handy for you. Also, keep in mind your audience. You have to always know who your readers are, because your writing style and the way you express your ideas will be different if you are writing for a nursing student versus a nursing professional who has been working in the industry for the past 20 years versus hospital administration versus someone who is not affiliated with nursing at all. Okay? And your purpose. Generally in persuasive or argumentative essays, the purpose is either to inform or to persuade, or it is a combination of the two. And make sure you keep your purpose in mind throughout the essay. Because if we do not keep that in mind, then you will lose track of your paper pretty quickly, and that will show through in your writing. Okay, formatting and how to write in APA style. Again, this is for your formal papers, so watch these videos closely. The first video gives you detail on how to format your papers using a title page and an abstract and so on. And the second video shows you how to do in-text citations and also citations for a reference paper as well. Now, going back to the first PowerPoint you should have received from the first week of class, remember that I did include a slide with some relevant links, including a link to an APA style and formatting guide. So refer back to that guide whenever possible, because that is going to help you. Okay? I also do know of a couple of sites that can help you put together in-text citations and help you generate them. But when you are doing those, I do want you to keep a close eye on them, because they are not perfect. They can make mistakes. So I do want you to still become familiar with the process of APA writing and APA citations so that you can easily catch those mistakes. So those sites that you can use for reference are citethisforme.com, CITE-thisforme.com, and EasyBib, EASYBIB.com, and just make sure you have APA style selected. But when using those, try and have like a really good antivirus, because even though Cite This For Me is free, there might be like some weird kind of pop-ups that show up, which is why, again, I recommend using them only as a last resort when you really are not sure of what you're doing. And for the most part, just do your best by the YouTube videos and the guide. Okay? Okay, next. If you have gotten to this point, yay. And now I want you guys to work on your Connect assignments. Before you do that though, check out this video on semicolons. It's a very brief video, about 3 minutes long, but it is extremely helpful because it'll help you guys figure out how to use semicolons, when to use them, what their purpose is, and so on. And when you are finished watching that video, go and log into your Connect and then start Grammar Practice 2. And it is similar to the one we did last time. So you can submit as many attempts as you need to, and just do your best, try to get them all right. If you have any questions about why something was the wrong answer, why something was the correct answer, or anything like that, then you can explore the exercises from your textbook within Connect, and you can also send me an email if you are still unsure. Okay? Once you are finished with your Grammar Practice 2 and you are satisfied with all your attempts, then you can start the study modules for chapters 1 through 5. Okay? These are pulled from your textbook, so they are definitely relevant to your readings, and they'll help you give a better idea of everything the book talks about in terms of how to write. Okay? If you have finished your study modules before the end of class, then what I want you to do is to start brainstorming for your next writing piece. This has also been assigned in Connect and is called Article 2, Addressing Why. Okay? And we'll talk about that in a second. Okay, so for homework, I want you guys to work on your next writing piece, which again is assigned in Connect as Article 2, Addressing Why. And there is a writing prompt in there in the description, and you guys should be able to access that. For some reason, the system only allowed me to give you peer reviews if you compose the actual assignment online. So what you guys can do is just write it out in Google Docs or Word, and then just copy paste into the text box, and just make sure everything is formatted correctly. Okay? There are formatting guidelines as well with the writing prompt. So if you have any trouble with those, let me know. Your peer reviews are due online in Connect by the 28th, and you have been split up into groups of 3, and there is one group of 2. So you will be able to see who your peer members are and basically who to keep in touch with, okay? And your final draft of this assignment is due on the 4th, and that is due online. It will be counted through Connect. Okay, if you want to, you can also submit a hard copy assignment along with that, but make sure you do submit it online for sure so that Connect counts it as you submitted it. Okay, and if you have not finished study modules chapters 1 through 5, go ahead and complete them in your own time. They are due by Sunday at 11:59 p.m. Okay, so you should have plenty of time to complete them. If you have any issues with that, let me know. Okay? And again, make sure you have submitted your first assignment to me by email. If it is late, I will take 10 points off, and please make sure you put it through Grammarly before submitting it. And once Grammarly finds any mistakes, make sure you work on them and then run through Grammarly again. Because if Grammarly catches more than 5 errors once I run your final draft through Grammarly, I will take between 5 to 10 points off. So I don't want you guys to lose points unnecessarily for those things. So please keep that in mind. Okay? Have a great morning, and let me know if you have any questions at all. Okay? I'll see you guys next week. Good luck.